Hi, my name is Rachel Hastings, and I'll be giving a speech on how oil spills affect our wildlife. Murder happens in all shapes and sizes, and it is killing us without us even knowing about it. The kind of murder I am focusing on is that of our wildlife that is caused by the irresponsible humans who are drilling dangerously in our oceans. I have been doing extensive research on how oil spills affect our wildlife for some time now, and have become an expert on all of the current news. The oil spills in the ocean kill wildlife by contaminating their water and their food sources, and there must be action taken by the people to help save these innocent lives. There are thousands of species affected by the oil in the water, and unfortunately, many of these lives are lost. BP and Exxon are a couple oil companies who have been known to dump thousands upon thousands of barrels of oil into the ocean. Every time this happens, it puts an enormous strain on the wildlife who live in these areas. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration state in its article, How Does Oil Impact Marine Life?, that oil destroys the insulating barrier of fur-bearing mammals such as sea otters and the water repellency of birds' feathers, thus exposing these creatures to the harsh elements. The elements include the bright burning rays of the sun, the frigid waters, and the stinging winds. When these elements are combined, these creatures go through hypothermia, and as a result, a lot of them die. Their deaths are because of humankind irresponsibility. Not only do these beautiful creatures suffer from the harsh elements, they also have to suffer from the painful toxicity that comes with being covered in a thickness of the chemical-filled sludge. Look at this animal. Do you recognize it? This is what happens to animals when they're covered in oil. They cannot move, and they have no place to go. This picture was taken by the Microbial Resource and Deepwater Horizon Oil Spill Company. According to Brant Phillips at Auburn University, in the article Oil Pipelines and Spills, toxic contamination usually occurs when an animal inhales or ingests oil. This can lead to reproductive problems, trouble digesting, and damage to the central nervous system, liver, and lungs. The animals are unable to take themselves to the vet, so they are left out in the harsh elements to try to survive. But once they are contaminated with the oil, so is their food source, so there is no way for them to survive. The wildlife struggle because their whole ecosystem is turned upside down. But this is where you can help, by supporting those who want to save our wildlife. There must be action taken against the oil companies who are not following the regulations they are supposed to. This requires you to support those who want to enforce harsher regulations on these companies. When the oil spill in the Gulf Coast happened a couple years ago, Obama put out a statement of new rules that were to be followed by these companies. These rules are stated in the New York Times article called U.S. Issues New Policies of Offshore Gas and Drilling, which is written by Coral Davenport, that there will be tougher inspection requirements and an overhaul of government agencies who oversee these oil offshore drilling companies. This is a big step in saving our wildlife, but it is only one step out of many that can be taken to help save their lives. By supporting those who make harsher rules and regulations, we can decrease the murder rate exponentially. But another way to help make a difference is by supporting alternative means of energy. This includes wind power. In the Huffington Post, a news periodical called Offshore Wind Energy would produce twice as many jobs as oil and gas companies. Adrian Grenier states that offshore wind would produce twice as many jobs and twice the amount of energy in the Atlantic Ocean than offshore drilling. Now, this is a perfect alternative because it reduces the risk of there ever being an oil spill. And it would save the wildlife once again. The murder rates would go down and they'd have a safe place to live. With little change and more support for those who care about our wildlife, we can make a difference. The incredible lack of responsibility by oil companies kills innocent lives. Through decisions made by you and your friends to support those who want to change these regulations, you can decrease the murder rate by putting a check mark in a ballot, or by speaking for what you know is right. You can decrease the murder rate. Do you support murder or life? Thank you.